Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Monteer 6500S bicycle headlight. Magicshine is well known for their affordable and high output bike lights, and with the Monteer series, it's been one of their brightest collections. Recently, they've actually expanded that to update the existing 6500 with the 6500S, as well as introduce the 3500, the 5000, and the 8000S variations. So it's really the next level of bright headlights. Now they've updated the lens as well as the battery to achieve these higher capacities. What we have here is the updated 6500. This is now the 6500S and it has the new battery pack and updated LEDs. In terms of packaging, really cleanly done. You can see the nice reflective graphic on the cardboard box, a nice black with high contrast orange colors. Really simple. And a very large and heavy box. Let's go ahead and take it out of the box, and while I do that, we'll go over the specs. Retail price on this is $349. This is one level lower than the 8500S, which is $399. It has the Garmin style mounts, which Magicshine's introduced throughout their product line, and is a great way to share the mounts with other mounts you already have. It has a 5 LED design with updated LED models. Has an aluminum out and front mount included, which is a really nice touch. And it has the updated MJ6118 battery pack, which uses 4 21700 lithium ion batteries, so a little more compact and higher output. Now inside the box, you get the nice foam cutout piece to hold everything in place. And you get quite a few items. So we get the headlamp itself. So nice aluminum design, 5 LEDs. You get the out and front mount, the one-sided mount. You get the battery pack. And what's nice about the battery pack, it actually has detachable wire. So you can see this latching mechanism to connect. And then it has the black plug design. Instruction manual. You get 2 straps to mount the battery pack to your frame through these slots, as well as a USB Type-C charging cable to charge the battery pack. And finally, you get a little Allen key to install the mount. Now let's take a look at the weight of the 6500S bike light. Starting out with the headlamp itself. That comes in at 144 grams, so quite light, and that's the nice thing about a wired pack design. The headlamp themselves are pretty lightweight. It's the battery pack where all the weight is. So the battery pack comes in at 388 grams, and if we add the connector wire which you need to connect to the headlamp, comes in at 412. And finally, the aluminum out and front mount is a one-sided design, similar to the TTA but a little bit stubbier. That comes in at 34 grams. Now let's take a look at the fit and finish of the Monteer 6500S bike light. Now, if you're wondering why this looks so familiar, it's because it actually shares the same housing as the current 6500. They've updated the LEDs and the lens as well as the battery pack for more output. And as you can see, design-wise, it's pretty clean. It's very narrow because you don't have the batteries in the actual headlamp. You have a taller casing. It's an aluminum design with these little built-in fins. You have the 5 LEDs here. The top 3 are designed to be floodlights, while the bottom 2 are more of a spot, with a 21-degree beam spread, while the top is 32 degrees. And then in terms of the housing itself, pretty simple. You have the little reflectors here, a little flat lens, and it actually sits slightly inside. There's no side visibility as you would get with a commuter light. It's definitely designed for more mountain bike riding or more serious lighting conditions. Now it's really designed to illuminate the trail, so you also won't see any beam cutoff. So it really spreads the light everywhere and gives you really nice visibility. In terms of the housing, again, really familiar as it's the same as the 6500. It shares the same single illuminated button. Really easy to operate. Single press turn it on, long press turn it off. Double click to switch between modes, and you have 3 modes. I'll go through the top 3 LEDs, the bottom 2, or the hybrid mode with all of them together. Now the mount uses the Garmin style mounts. They're really nice. I really like Magicshine for doing this, as you don't have any proprietary mounts. You can reuse any existing mounts, and this Garmin style is really common, so It's a great way to share the same mounts between lights and bike computers or even cameras. The plug itself is pretty nicely designed, and this is usually the weak point for a wired bike light setup. With previous Magicshine lights, over the years, I'd find out that the insulation would start ripping or the contacts would get loose. This feels really nice, ribbon style with a thick insulation. It's a black plug style, unlike the orange 4-plug versions you'll see in the MJ908 and other lights. Overall, really compact and nice. It definitely gets hot when you're riding, but as long as you're moving, I found the heat management pretty good. Also, I think the big thing here is the battery pack. That's the big upgrade here, and that really enables the higher output. It's still the same name. It's still the 6118 battery pack, but it's been updated to have the 21700 batteries. So it's a little more compact. It's still quite heavy, of course, since it's such a high capacity. Has 10,000 milliamp capacity, 7.2 volts, so more than enough. And what's really cool about this is it's not just for your bike light with the detachable wiring. You can actually use this as a power bank for your cell phone or any other on-the-go charging. It's USB Type-C, which is really nice to see. You have this nice thick rubber grommet covering that USB port. So really easy to charge, and it's nice to see USB Type-C in more products. The other really unique thing about this is that the wires actually fully disconnect. So you can see previously with Magicshine batteries, you'd also have a wire sticking out, but with this, you can take off this rubber cover, and then you have a latching design for the plug. So you simply plug it in, and you can see it latches in, and now you can plug it into your headlamp. When you want to use it as a power bank, you pull it off, put the cover on, and then simply attach a USB-C plug to either discharge or charge it. You can also check the battery status by clicking the button here. You get a 3 LED indicator, which gives you enough information to know the current state. This is not quite as fancy as the Lupine Smart Core lights, which also have can double as a taillight and have audible clicks, but it's a really nice advancement compared to the other previous batteries. Mounting is really easy. You have this thick rubber strip, and then these little slots here that you can run the Velcro through. So really secure, but it will take up space. So you put it on your top tube or down tube. Also want to take a look at the mount. So it's really nice that they included this instead of a more basic mount. Similar to the TTA, except it's left mounted and a little bit stubbier. It's also one-sided, but it looks like it has the threading for the second side. So if you had the puck, you could probably add it on there. And with the way the wiring is set up, it's a really clean design. So you put it in here, nice and secure, and then the wire sticks out under, so wrap under your headlamp, under your handlebars, and to the battery pack. And this is more than secure enough with the single bolt and hinge design. With the Monteer 6500S, you have 3 different modes. You have Spot, Flood, and Hybrid, and this activates either the top row, the bottom row, or all 5. Side by side, they don't look very different. It's really hard to differentiate between either Spot, Flood, or Hybrid. It's only obvious that Hybrid is active. Now, with the single button interface, you have an impressive 15 different modes. And with each mode, you have 4 different intensities: low, you have economy, low, medium, high, as well as a flash. So in total, you get 15 different options, and they're a little bit different to tell apart on the road. It's a little bit difficult. You have to kind of peek over. But as you can see, eco and low modes are usually more than enough, and the beam distribution is wide and even. So it's very nice to ride with, especially off-road or even on-road. And with the updated 6500S, they've redistributed the lumen amount, so you can see here throughout it's a little bit brighter than the previous model, and the run times are even higher thanks to the bigger battery pack. One thing we found annoying is that flash mode is present for each of the modes, and you have to cycle through them, which can be really disruptive. So you have to be prepared and click through it quickly. And as you can see, the full 6500 lumen amount is quite absurd. You don't need this much power, but it's nice to have, and with 2 hours of runtime, it's very impressive. Here's some running runtime footage, and you can see this is, I believe, a low or a medium mode, and it's more than bright enough. The beam pattern's nice and wide, and you can really see down the trail. We found that we didn't really need the higher modes at all. The medium and high modes are kind of overkill. So for most riding, you should be comfortable using the eco and low modes, which means you don't have to really charge this thing very often. So now let's do a little comparison between the Monteer and some other bike lights on the market. As you can see here, I have many of the Magicshine variations, the MJ908, the 906, the Eagle F3, as well as the associated battery packs to show a comparison, as well as some of the commuter lights like the Alti 2000 and the Phoenix BC21R V2. Now right off the bat, I have both Monteer 8000S and the 6500S. You can see they're the same, so same housing. Essentially they just changed the output on these. With these you get the same battery packs as well, while the lower Monteer variation use a smaller battery pack. So they're simply programmed to put out more power, further beam, and maybe a little lens modification as well. So right off the bat, comparing these to your standard commuter light, you can see commuter lights with the batteries actually integrated within the headlamp. You end up with a larger headlamp compared to the Monteer. It's almost half the size, as you just have the heatsink and the LEDs. So that's one big advantage of this. And you can get a lot more output, while these are usually limited to under 2000. Here's the Alti 2000. You get the OLED screen, which is something I wish the Monteers had. But again, a lot bigger. Same Garmin mount. But you can see just a lot larger form factor. But obviously all-in-one design means you don't have to lug around a big battery. Now comparing this to some of other Magicshine's mountain biking lights, this is actually my favorite, the Eagle F3. 4 LED design, same idea though. You have the flood and then the spotlights. You can see similar form factor. The F3 is actually bigger. They have a 2-button interface and a more obvious battery indicator. So that's a nice plus of this. And a bigger heatsink design. It's actually surprising that the Monteers have such a small form factor, as you would think the heat would actually require larger fins, but actually they work pretty well despite the smaller size. So you can see they've really improved the build quality as well, where this is all plastic. This is full aluminum and really clean. Now some of their newer MJ lights, this is the 906. So you get the 5 LED design. This puts out, I think, about 3200 lumen. You can see smaller form factor, but a little bit taller, and again, more plasticky, and it uses their old rubber style mounts. I think the newer ones actually have switched to Garmin, which is a better design. Now, if an 8000 lumen Monteer light sounds familiar, it's because they actually have an 8000 lumen MJ908. This was a theoretical 8000 lumens though, so you don't actually get that. But much larger form factor. You can see almost double the size. It's all heat fins, which is something, again, I'm surprised not to see here. And larger overall, taller, wider. You do get the LED screen, which is really nice. So you can see which mode you're in. With the Monteers, you don't really know what mode you're in without peeking over. But definitely nice to see more output, more real measured output versus theoretical in a smaller form factor. The other thing I really like about the updated Monteer lights, especially with the 6500S and the 8000S, is the battery packs have improved. Previously they used the 18650 lithium ion battery packs. This had 6 batteries in here. So you can see 3 here, 3 here. It's heavier, chunkier. They also had an even larger one. This is the MJ6090. So you can see really large. It essentially takes up your whole water bottle cage. But it had a nice removable mount here. But very heavy. It has more capacity than the other battery packs we're looking at now. It has 10.4 versus the 10,000 that we see with the Monteers, but you can see quite a bit bigger. Put these side by side, you can see they've really slimmed it down, made it easier to carry, and with the removable plug, you can see how it's non-removable. That's what I really like about the new Monteer battery pack. You can simply pop this out, put the dust cap on, and then just stick this in your pocket, carry a spare one if you're on the road, or use this as a power bank. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Monteer 6500S. What we like about it is that it's ridiculously bright. At 6500 lumens, it's more light than anybody really needs. And with 15 different modes, you can find the right output for your ride. We also like the USB Type-C charging battery pack, which lets you use the battery pack as a power cell for your cell phone or other Type-C devices. And finally, it's really well built and has durable wiring connections. This is one weak point we've seen with other Magicshine lights. And with this, it looks like they're more reinforced and durable. Some of the cons is the fact that it lacks DRLs. That would have been a nice feature to see here and something they have on some of their commuter lights. You also have to cycle through flash mode, which is really disruptive, so especially as you're riding at higher speeds, the flash mode can ruin your depth perception, so you have to be really quick to get out of it. And finally, the retail price is pretty close to the Monteer 6000S, so it's $50 less than that light and 1500 lumens lower. So for us, if you're going to spend this much money on a bike light, we feel like the 8000S is really tempting. Taking everything into account, we'd give the light an 8.8 out of 10. This really is the muscle car of bike lights and provides a lot of power with a really simple feature set. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.